The Life of Bulma from Dragon Ball. Bulma is a brilliant scientist and the second daughter of Capsule Corporation's founder, Dr. Brief, and his wife, Bikini, the younger sister of Tights, and Goku's first friend. She used to be the girlfriend of Yamcha, but moved on while remaining friends with him and eventually became the wife of Vegeta, as well as the mother of Trunks and Bulla, a technological and scientific genius who can turn her talents to almost any field and understand alien technology near effortlessly. Her inventions and the resources of Capsule Corporation have been invaluable to Goku and the rest of the Dragon team many times. Her most notable invention is the Dragon Radar. Bulma is the most significant female character in the series. Aside from Goku, Bulma is the single longest running character in the entire meta-series, being introduced in the first Dragon Ball chapter and episode and maintaining a prominent role until the end of the series. Welcome to the Amagi. In today's video, we're going over the life of Bulma. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. The Amagi's reach stretches beyond just this channel, so if you're a fan of us, please consider subscribing to our other channels and following us on all of our social media. Help us reach our goal of passing 100,000 followers on all of our accounts by the end of the year. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Jaco, the Galactic Patrolman. At age 739, 10 years before the events in the Emperor Pilaf saga, Bulma, who is just 5 years old, visits with her family on Omori's island. Bulma helps fix Jaco's spaceship without anyone noticing and demonstrates an intelligence that both impresses the Patrolman and Omori. Bulma carries with her a laser gun that she designed herself and says it was made because she thought Jaco was an evil alien. 10 years later, Bulma graduates from university and is in search of mysterious mythical balls that can grant whatever wish their finder desires. Emperor Pilaf Saga. At the age of 15, she found the 2-star Dragon Ball in her basement. She created the Dragon Radar to find the other Dragon Balls, so she could wish for a lifetime supply of strawberries, but later decides she wants to wish for the perfect boyfriend instead. She began her quest for the other balls during her summer vacation, and after a couple days she found the 5-star Dragon Ball in the North Valley. 9 days later, she went to Mount Paozu to find the next Dragon Ball and accidentally hit a young boy named Goku with her car. Bulma was the first girl Goku had ever seen, and even more so, the second human he'd ever seen, after his guardian, Grandpa Gohan, who died. After Goku took Bulma to his house, she finds out that he has the 4-star Dragon Ball and explains the legend and power behind them. After failing to seduce Goku for the Dragon Ball, she decides to become traveling partners with him, to which he agrees, though she deliberately neglected to tell him that the Dragon Balls scatter after the wish is made. Later that night, when camping in a capsule house in Skull Valley, Bulma ends up introducing Goku to several elements that he was deprived of in his isolation, such as technology, bathing, and even the anatomy of women, accidentally. The next morning, Goku finds a sea turtle lost and decides to walk him back to the beach, which Bulma unhappily agrees to since she does not want to be left alone and defenseless. After an encounter with a bear thief, they got him to the beach and met Master Roshi, who gave Goku the flying Nimbus for bringing him back. Bulma, who saw Master Roshi's 3-star Dragon Ball, got it for him in exchange for showing him her panties, which she said she did not know were not on at the time because Goku removed them while she was sleeping that morning. Only later she discovers that her underwear is gone and is furious as Goku admits, after being explained what panties are, that he took them off. When the two continue their journey, Bulma tries to use the flying Nimbus but was rejected since she's not pure-hearted. 3 days later, Bulma and Goku ended up in Aru village, which was under the rule of a shapeshifter named Oolong, who kidnapped the young daughters of the villagers. Bulma was given the 6-star Dragon Ball by an old lady in the village for coming up with a plan to have Goku defeat Oolong. Bulma forced Oolong to come with them on their journey since his shapeshifting ability can come in handy. The journey became hard when they reached the Diablo Desert and lost her capsules after traveling through a river on a boat just before. While in the desert, she met Yamcha, who she develops a crush on. After spending the night in Oolong's house wagon, she was forced to wear a bunny costume because it was the only clean clothes around she had to wear. 2 days later, the Dragon team arrived at Fire Mountain to find the next Dragon Ball before the Ox King finds them. Bulma and Oolong almost got killed by the Ox King, but were saved when he found out that Goku knew Master Roshi. Bulma got the 7-star Dragon Ball when Goku and the Ox King's daughter Chi-Chi retrieved Master Roshi to put out the flames on Fire Mountain, but unfortunately for her, Bulma had let Roshi touch her breasts in return. Bulma had Oolong take her place by shapeshifting, but Bulma got angry when he went overboard and exposed her breasts to him as well. While on their way to the final Dragon Ball, they end up getting supplies at a town. While there, Bulma is mistaken for a member of the Rabbit Mob because she's still wearing the bunny suit Oolong gave her. After getting new clothes, she is not feared by the townsfolk anymore, with one shopper becoming angry at her for pulling such a stunt. After Goku defeats 2 members of the mob, they call their boss, Monster Carrot. Goku got help from Yamcha and Puar, who had been secretly following them the whole time, to defeat Monster Carrot and have Bulma turned back into a human. The gang got back on track to their last 1-star Dragon Ball, which was in the possession of Emperor Pilaf, who had the desire to use them to rule the world. Bulma and the others had to get a ride from Yamcha and Puar to Pilaf's castle, since they had their previous car destroyed by Pilaf's minion Shu, and 5 of their Dragon Balls stolen by him. While traveling, Bulma cozies up to Yamcha, who can barely keep his mind straight. While in Pilaf's castle, the gang was trapped in a room where Pilaf was able to steal the last ball from them that Goku had on. Oolong was able to save the world by stopping Pilaf from making his wish by shouting his wish for panties just a fraction of a second before Pilaf's request for world domination. However, the Dragon Ball gang was put into a cell to be fried the next morning. Bulma and the others were able to escape when Goku looked at the full moon, transformed into a great ape, and then broke them out. The next morning, Bulma becomes disappointed that she did not get her wish, but decides to hook up with Yamcha and head back to her home in West City. Tournament Saga. After preventing Pilaf from taking over the world, Bulma, Yamcha, Oolong, and Puar decide to return to West City, where Goku goes to train with Master Roshi. On their way back, the airplane crashes into a jungle where they're forced to walk. While back at West City, Bulma and Yamcha start to date. She cheers Yamcha on while watching him defeat an entire dojo of fighters to train for the upcoming World Martial Arts Tournament. During the time, Bulma decides to go visit Goku at Kame House, but finds out that the house was moved to a different location. Bulma becomes mad when Yamcha leaves West City to train in the wild. A month later, when coming home from grocery shopping, Bulma almost gets run over by a truck, but is saved when Yamcha returns and saves her. Bulma becomes disappointed at him for being gone so long and not contacting her. Afterwards, she takes Yamcha to her house to get him cleaned up. When Bulma arrives at Papaya Island to watch the tournament, she meets back up with Goku and Master Roshi while they were signing up. During the elimination rounds, Bulma used Oolong to help her get a good view into the room so she could watch Yamcha fight. When the tournament started, she got a front row seat. While Goku did an excellent job in the tournament, Bulma proudly took credit for being the one to discover him. After Goku lost the final round against Jackie Chun, who was really Master Roshi in disguise, Bulma and the rest of the gang ate dinner and began to leave back home. But she was unfortunately stranded in the desert again when Yamcha's car broke down and was caught in a sandstorm, bringing them back to the World Tournament area where they started. Red Ribbon Army Saga. Bulma returns to West City and continues going to school at the senior high school. She begins to dislike Yamcha due to his popularity with other women. Goku meets back up with her in front of her house at Capsule Corporation one day when she ditched school and came home early. Goku came to have Bulma repair the dragon radar that got broken while traveling. Feeling bored with life in West City, she decides to join Goku and collect the Dragon Balls once more. Before Goku had arrived, she made a new device, the Micro Band, so she can shrink and travel with him in his shirt while he's flying on the Nimbus. Before leaving, Bulma decides to show Goku around the city. While traveling through the city, Goku and Bulma come across Yamcha, Oolong, and Puar, who decide to come along with them to Dreamland. At Dreamland, Bulma decides to be moody the whole time because of her fight with Yamcha and walks around by herself. When she decides that she wanted to apologize to Yamcha, she sees what looks like him holding another woman. However, Yamcha was actually trying to disarm a scimitar from Husky. Angry at Yamcha for his infidelity, Bulma whacks him with a pot, knocking him out and allowing Husky to escape. After Goku caught Husky, Bulma officially breaks up with Yamcha and travels with Goku to find the Dragon Balls. Bulma and Goku end up flying to an island that is right near the location of a Dragon Ball that's located in the ocean. When Bulma finds out that she did not have a submarine capsule on her, Goku goes off to find the ball underwater by himself, leaving Bulma on the island. Bulma wanders the island not knowing that it was a base for the Red Ribbon Army. While wandering the island, she comes across 2 soldiers who are attracted to her. Since they were on an island in the middle of nowhere, the 2 soldiers wanted to take advantage of her, but Bulma ran away. This made them angry, so they got into their planes and started shooting at Bulma, but Goku came just in time to defeat the soldiers and save her. Seeing that the ball was very deep underwater, they went to Kame House to see Master Roshi and got a submarine in exchange for her microband, for perverted reasons on Roshi's part. When they began to go off into the ocean, Krillin decided to come along and help them. While searching in the ocean, they were chased by the submarine of General Blue into a pirate cave that was the site of some hidden treasure. While sneaking through the cave, they came across a trap that shot arrows by touching any of the black holes that were littered all over the hallway. Goku and Krillin were able to jump over all of them, but Bulma had to hang upside down on Goku's power pole as it slowly brought her through the hall. While continuing through the cave, Bulma ran away from a pirate robot that Goku and Krillin fought. During the fight, Bulma and Krillin left to go ahead of Goku, who decided to stay and fight the robot. At the end of the hall, they had no choice but to strip to their underwear and swim the rest of the way. When Bulma and Krillin found a room filled with treasure, they encountered General Blue. Bulma stayed and watched Krillin fight against General Blue. Just as Krillin was losing, Goku caught up and took him on. When Blue released his telekinesis on Goku, Bulma tried to seduce him with her body, but it failed because General Blue is not interested in women. After Goku was able to defeat General Blue, Bulma and Krillin went to escape the cave as it was crumbling, and Goku went to quickly find the Dragon Ball. Bulma drives an ancient submarine out of the pirate cave once Goku got the Dragon Ball. When they got back to the surface, Bulma shows Krillin and Goku that she hid a diamond from the treasure in her underpants while they were still in there. Bulma uses the diamond to pay Master Roshi back for not returning his submarine, but Launch reverted to her bad form and stole it. General Blue shows up at Kame House and has everybody tied up using his telekinesis while he takes the Dragon Balls, and escapes leaving a bomb behind to kill them. Launch returned just in time to save them by untying Goku so he can throw the bomb and catch up to General Blue. At that point, Bulma decides to end traveling with Goku and stay at the Kame House for the time being. While Goku was out continuing his quest for the Dragon Ball, Bulma took the microband back from Roshi since he was using it for perverted reasons. While Goku was training at the top of Korin Tower, he looked through one of the water jugs and saw Bulma and Krillin cooking at Roshi's house, where she accidentally burned her finger on the stove. Another time Goku looked through the jug, she was seen teaching Roshi, Launch, and Krillin how to do aerobics. While she was at Roshi's house, she was using what little resources he had laying around to make a scouting plane and another dragon radar to track Goku down. When Bulma launched the scouting plane, she saw that Goku was heading to the Red Ribbon Army headquarters to get their Dragon Balls. Bulma decided to make a phone using spare parts around the house so she can call Yamcha and have him take everyone to Goku. When everyone gets to the Red Ribbon Army base to meet Goku, they are late, only to find that Goku easily beat them all. Fortuneteller Baba Saga. Bulma fixes the Dragon Radar and is confused that it doesn't pick up the trace of the last Dragon Ball. Bulma decided to stay behind while Goku, Yamcha, Krillin, and Puar go to meet Master Roshi's sister, Fortuneteller Baba, to help them locate the ball. But Bulma and Roshi end up getting dragged to Fortuneteller Baba's palace by Goku as part of a plan Krillin has. Since Yamcha is fighting See-Through the Invisible Man and was struggling to fight, not knowing where his opponent is, Krillin has Bulma face Roshi while pulling her shirt off, exposing her bare breasts to Roshi. Roshi then has a nosebleed onto the Invisible Man, revealing him to Yamcha for him to easily defeat. Afterwards, Bulma gets mad at Krillin over pulling her shirt down and hits him. Bulma meets Appa and spectates the rest of the fights in the Devil's Toilet against Bandages the Mummy and Spike the Devilman. When Goku finishes the final fight outside against his grandpa Gohan, Bulma tells him about what Goku accomplished while he's been dead. After Goku finished getting the Dragon Balls, Bulma had to promise Master Roshi that she would stay at Kame House if he would train Yamcha. While everyone was preparing for the World Martial Arts Tournament, Bulma saw pictures of Master Roshi when he was young and learned of Ino Shikacho when she had a nightmare of Goku being slaughtered. Shinhan Saga. Bulma arrives with everybody else at Papaya Island by plane. While waiting for Goku to arrive, they meet Master Roshi's rival, Master Shen the Crane Hermit, who brought along his students Tien Shinhan and Chiaotzu. During the tournament, Yamcha got his leg broken by Tien in the first match, and Bulma helped him at the hospital. While staying at the hotel, she shared a room with Launch. As a spectator in the tournament, she seemed to hit Oolong a lot, mostly by accident, and also argued with Master Shen on many occasions. Bulma is also shown to be a fan of Pamput, and even debated to cheer for him instead of Goku. King Piccolo Saga. Bulma's part in the King Piccolo Saga began to emphasize her role as a scientist. She lends the Dragon Radar to the Dragon team so they might locate the Dragon Balls before King Piccolo. However, the protagonist's efforts are in vain when King Piccolo is successful in summoning Shenron, and the menacing Namekian is granted eternal youth. Bulma stores the lifeless bodies of Krillin, Chiaotzu, and Master Roshi, all victims of King Piccolo and his deformed son Tambourine, to later be revived by Shenron, along with every other undeserving victim of King Piccolo's campaign. Piccolo Jr. Saga. 3 years later, Bulma was once again a spectator at the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, where she reunited with Goku as well as the other friends she made during Dragon Ball. It's here that she notices how Goku's grown up into a young man. With Goku now being 18 years old and Bulma 22, Bulma refers to him as handsome and almost takes a liking to him. However, any possibility of a connection was not going to happen, since Goku ended up being happily engaged to his childhood sweetheart, Chi-Chi, in the quarterfinals. Bulma becomes happy for Goku and looks forward to becoming friends with his soon-to-be bride. Saiyan Saga. After 5 years of peace, Bulma is with Krillin and Master Roshi at the Kame House, when Goku arrives and introduces them to his new child, Gohan. Bulma, Krillin, and Roshi are shocked by this information at first. Bulma also witnesses Goku's brother Raditz arriving on Earth to investigate why Goku, revealed to be a Saiyan named Kakarot by birthright, failed to exterminate the population of Earth as a child. She witnesses Goku fall to Raditz by only one kick, and him kidnapping Gohan. After Raditz's defeat at the cooperative hands of Goku and Piccolo, Bulma is able to repair and modify the warrior's scouter device so that it may display a person's power level in Earth figures rather than Saiyan ones. A year later, the two Saiyans arrive on Earth. Bulma watches the battle on TV as Yamcha is killed by one of the Saiyaman, and she breaks down in tears. When they lose the TV signal, Fortuneteller Baba arrives and they watch the battle on her crystal ball. Bulma is age 28 at the time. When Goku fought Vegeta, Bulma reads Goku's power level to the scouter, but his power level went too high for the scouter and broke. Frieza Saga. After many of Earth's finest defenders, including Piccolo, and by extension Kami and the Dragon Balls, are lost in the battle against the Saiyans Nappa and Vegeta, Bulma attempts to get a trip to Kami and Piccolo's home planet, Namek, in the hopes of retrieving the Namekian Dragon Balls to revive Piccolo, whose restoration would also revive Kami and the Dragon Balls of Earth. Bulma tries to use the remote to Nappa's spaceship, which was left behind, but accidentally self-destructs the ship instead. Mr. Popo then assists Bulma by taking her with him on his magic carpet to help identify a large contraption in Yonzabit Heights as a spaceship, particularly the craft used by Kami to escape Namek centuries earlier. After seeing that the ship was fast enough to travel to Jupiter within minutes, she has the ship repaired and modified at Capsule Corporation with the help of her father. During the preparation, Mr. Popo taught Bulma some of the Namekian languages in order to help use the ship. Joined by Krillin and Gohan, Bulma uses the spaceship to travel to Namek. En route to Namek, Bulma was the captain of the Namekian spaceship, where she spent the next 34 days sitting around in only her underwear and complaining of boredom. During this time in filler, the group is intercepted by a platoon of orphans in their mirror spaceship, certain that Bulma, Krillin, and Gohan are henchmen of the space tyrant Frieza. They're later tricked into making a crash landing on a fake Namek, where after a complex plot by the aliens Zakro and Raiti, the group is almost left stranded. Upon reaching Namek, their troubles only multiply when Banan and Sui, two of Frieza's henchmen, deliberately damage the group's spaceship during an investigation, rendering them unable to leave the planet. Bulma leaves the Dragon Radar in the care of Krillin and Gohan, who begin their search for the Dragon Balls. During the two's departure, Bulma sets up camp in a capsule house hidden inside of a cave. While relaxing in a bath, she receives a radio transmission from her father that Goku is on his way to Namek. After telling Gohan and Krillin of the news of Goku coming, she meets the Namekian child Dende, who they befriend. She is soon plagued by numerous misdeeds while on Namek, when she's caught in the middle of a devastating confrontation between Vegeta and Zarbon, one of Frieza's top henchmen. She quickly admires Zarbon's appearance prior to the gruesome revelation of his second form, which ends up scaring her. She also witnesses Zarbon's demise as Vegeta obtains the Dragon Ball from them. With this, she's left out in the open to keep guard of the 4-star Namekian Dragon Ball. When a Dragon Ball accidentally falls into the ocean, Bulma uses her capsule submarine to go underwater and get it back from a giant crab and its babies. After getting back on land, she's threatened and kidnapped by 2 more soldiers of Frieza, Blueberry and Raspberry. She managed to defeat the soldiers. She tricked them by alluring them to the nest of the giant crab from earlier, narrowly escaping from them just in time. Eventually, she was forced to wander around the landscape, weakened to such an extent that she believes she no longer has anything to live for except for getting revenge on Krillin and Gohan for leaving her behind. However, she was forced to flee when several Namekian dinosaurs seemed to be going after Bulma with the intention of killing her, although it was later revealed that they had merely been stampeding due to fear at a huge power increase by Frieza, and she had merely been in the way. Bulma later has her body briefly snatched by Captain Ginyu, leaving her soul trapped inside the body of a Namekian frog Ginyu had mistakenly snatched during his conflict with Vegeta. She later regains her body when Gohan interferes with Captain Ginyu's body change attempt towards Piccolo by throwing Bulma's frog body between Ginyu and Piccolo. Afterwards, she's knocked back by one of the blasts from Frieza and Goku's battle, along with Ginyu, and is eventually knocked back even further by the aftershock of the Spirit Bomb. Bulma, still feeling sore towards Ginyu for tricking her, has Ginyu try to scout ahead for her friends. After Ginyu reports back, she then notices an aura on a nearby island resulting from Goku's transformation into the Super Saiyan. After Frieza, in a last-ditch effort against Goku, tries to blow up Namek, Bulma, witnessing the cataclysm, expressed horror and stated she did not want to die as the ground began cracking underneath her, although she ultimately survived due to Frieza unintentionally holding back enough power to delay the destruction by 5 minutes. Bulma attempts to restart the ship when preparing to leave for Earth, and tries to stop Gohan from trying to sacrifice himself to stop Frieza from escaping the dying planet. After a wish made to Porunga, the eternal dragon of Namek, transports all living beings on Namek except for Goku and Frieza to Earth, Bulma allows Vegeta and the Namekians to take shelter at Capsule Corporation for a year, until the Z-Fighters could be revived and a new planet suitable for the Namekians could be found. She even offered Vegeta to stay at her home, which he does, but he's bemused when she calls him cute. After half a year, the Namekian Dragon Balls are used to resurrect the deceased Z-Fighters, including Yamcha, much to her delight. Frieza-Androids Interlude. In the anime, Bulma attends Master Roshi's party and quickly develops a grudge on Krillin's beloved but frustrating girlfriend Marin, as Marin relentlessly advances on Yamcha even in Bulma's presence and often calls Bulma an old lady. She inhales the coat of black water mist that Garlic Jr. lays across the earth, which degrades her into one of Garlic Jr.'s thoughtless and violent mind slaves. Like the other possessed residents of Earth, Bulma is eventually reverted to normal when Mr. Popo and Kami spread the sacred water through the Lookout's 7 air currents of the world. A year later, after Vegeta returns as a failure for not finding Goku, Bulma berates him for smelling bad and orders him to clean up, much to everyone's amazement of how easily she can control him. When everyone feels Frieza's presence heading towards Earth, Bulma follows the Z-Fighters to see what Frieza looks like. When future Trunks mysteriously arrives and easily slays Frieza and his father, King Cold, Bulma is at first under the impression that the young man is an employee of the Capsule Corporation, due to the logo on his jacket. The only 2 people who are made aware that he is actually the future son of Bulma and Vegeta are Goku, who is told this by future Trunks, and Piccolo, whose powerful Namek ears inadvertently hear the confession. Still, Piccolo explains to the Z-Fighters and friends the boy's story of the androids, and that he is a legitimate visitor from the future. In a set of filler scenes that cover the period between the arrival of Trunks and the Androids Saga, Bulma is shown behaving concernedly towards Vegeta, constantly worried about his welfare and him overworking himself, especially when he ends up blowing up the gravity chamber as a result of his carelessness. As Bulma tends to an injured and barely conscious Vegeta, reassuring him that he's powerful and doesn't need to torture himself to prove his worth to others, Yamcha gapes at the duo, his expression a mix of disbelief and jealousy. Bulma later berates Vegeta for continuing his intense training, shortly after he barely recovers from the aforementioned incident, but the latter rudely brushes her off in a manner that clearly hurts her. However, Bulma tries to develop a relationship with Vegeta, which is more considered an affair and cheating due to their mutual attraction was based on passion and loneliness, and the fact that Yamcha and Bulma are still dating. As a result, Bulma gives birth to a baby boy named Trunks, but this doesn't bring them closer, and they argue frequently, leading to them to be estranged. Androids Saga. Although she initially intended to reveal Trunks' name, as well as the fact that his father was Vegeta when the Z-Fighters congregated at the area the androids were to appear, Goku accidentally reveals both pieces of info to her confusion and shock, not knowing that future Trunks revealed this. Despite Vegeta's seeming indifference towards her and their son, Bulma insists that he really loves Trunks and would never let anything happen to him, showing that she still harbors affection for him despite their rocky relationship. Eventually, with the return of future Trunks not long after, the fact that he is the same person as her child slowly becomes clear to everyone, including Vegeta, who assumes that having his blood is why future Trunks could become a Super Saiyan at such a young age. When Bulma learns of future Trunks being the same person as her child, she's greatly shocked to learn this, but is soon relieved since she knows he won't look like his father at an older age. Cell Saga. Sometime after, she receives word of a person finding a device belonging to her company. She soon joins her future son and Gohan in doing the investigation and is shocked to learn that it's a time machine, the very same one Trunks time traveled with, but he's confused as he had it on him and compares it with the older looking one. Bulma finds an eggshell in the machine, while Gohan finds the shell of what could have come out of the egg, which terrifies Bulma after Trunks states what emerged could be bigger and near the area. Bulma nervously leaves the area after telling Trunks not to be afraid to come by the house when he feels like it. Krillin later gives Bulma blueprints for Android 17 that were confiscated by him in future Trunks. Bulma develops a remote device that can be used to deactivate Android 17 and Android 18, but when Krillin has the chance to use it to destroy Android 18, he chooses to destroy the device instead because he has developed feelings for 18. Bulma goes to Kami's lookout to give the Z-Fighters the third-party model of battle armor she developed to help in their training for the Cell games. After Android 16 is damaged while trying to prevent Cell from absorbing 18, he's repaired by Bulma and her father. During the repair, the unconfident pair decides to remove 16's bomb, which proves to be a poor move as 16 later attempts to use the bomb against Cell but does not realize until he's in combat with his opponent that he has no trump card, which causes his death. After Cell is defeated by Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, Bulma is seen at Capsule Corporation with the others, saying her farewells to future Trunks before he returns to his time. Great Saiyaman Saga. 7 years later, Bulma is properly living with Vegeta and their son Trunks. By now, she and Vegeta are married and have a better relationship. She designs a disguise Gohan can use with his Great Saiyaman watch while fighting crime as the protector of Satan City, the Great Saiyaman. World Tournament Saga. When it's announced that the deceased Goku will be returning to Earth for a day, she's 40 years old. Bulma attends the 25th World Martial Arts Tournament, although she spends most of the tournament arguing with Chi-Chi over whose husband and son are better. At the end of the tournament, she witnesses Vegeta mercilessly slaughter hundreds of spectators after allowing the wizard Babidi to unleash his inner powers, with Vegeta close to hitting Bulma with the Big Bang attack he fired at the crowds, leading her to faint in sorrow. Majin Buu Saga. After the tournament, she goes with the group to look for the Dragon Balls to resurrect the citizens Vegeta killed. As Vegeta sacrificed himself to stop Majin Buu, she senses that something bad has happened to him, and spends the search worrying about him. She later takes shelter from Majin Buu on Kami's lookout with the rest of the group. When informed of Vegeta's sacrifice against Buu, Bulma openly expresses her feelings towards Vegeta by breaking down in despair, admitting she truly fell in love with him after Cell's defeat. A day later, Super Buu finds everyone on the lookout and spares them when using his human extinction attack to kill all the other people on Earth. When Super Buu escapes from the hyperbolic time chamber during his fight with Gotenks, Bulma, along with the others, are transformed into chocolate and consumed by the monster. In the other world, Bulma, now with a ghostly tail due to being dead, goes to heaven, where she gossips with Chi-Chi, Videl, and Dabura until the battle ends. Afterwards, she's revived by the Dragon Balls along with her family and friends, and Bulma hears Vegeta pleading for the Earthlings to give all their energy to Goku to create the spirit bomb used to eliminate Kid Buu once and for all, and she's happy that he's back. She and all the Z-Fighters oblige to Vegeta's request, and eventually all the Earthlings do what Mr. Satan orders them to. After Kid Buu's demise, Bulma happily declared her love to Vegeta. When all the Z-Fighters reunite, Bulma happily greets Vegeta, showing she forgives him for his earlier actions. In a filler episode, Bulma later hosts a party at her home in Capsule Corporation. God of Destruction Beerus Saga. Sometime after the conflict with Majin Buu, Bulma tells Trunks that if her cosmetics don't work on her, she'll give them to Videl so she can keep her face smooth as she gets older. Later, Bulma goes to a resort area with Vegeta and Trunks for their first family vacation. While shopping for Trunks, Bulma is surprised that Vegeta chose his family over training for once. She questioned his motives and was delighted that Vegeta is spending more time with them. She furthermore points out that he's changed so much since fighting Buu and enjoyed their trip before Vegeta got annoyed and left to resume his training. Despite that, she was thankfully put up with it for a long time and enjoyed their time together. Bulma is hosting her birthday party on a first-class cruise ship. Bulma gets furious with Good Buu for eating before the party started. She also gets mad when she hears from Gohan that Vegeta and Goku are off training on her birthday. When talking with Chi-Chi and Android 18, Bulma prevents Master Roshi from attempting to touch her breasts by slapping him. When Beerus and Whis arrive, she notices them with Vegeta, and thinking the pair are his friends, takes them along with her and introduces them to the rest of the party guests, joining the guests in chanting Beerus' name and clapping. After Beerus defeats Buu, Gotenks charges him and is defeated. Bulma cared for Trunks once the fusion wears off. She steps in when Beerus aims his finger at Vegeta in an attempt to execute him, taking his attention off of Vegeta by slapping him and mouthing off. Beerus returns the favor by slapping her back, and she's knocked out, sending Vegeta into a rage. When Goku arrives, she tells him to defeat Beerus immediately, only to be shocked by his explanation of Beerus being the god of destruction, which would make him way stronger than Goku and the others. With this, she understands Vegeta's previous behavior towards Beerus. Shenron is summoned, and Bulma takes note of his frantic behavior towards Beerus, finding it surprising. She later calls Vegeta out on not knowing about Super Saiyan God if he was the Saiyan Prince before they're told of how to make one. Bulma would cheer Goku on as he entered the form and battled Beerus, as Vegeta prevented her from saying things that Beerus would hear and possibly destroy them for. Beerus ultimately did not destroy Earth and leaves the planet. Bulma was left dissatisfied with her party due to the ordeal. Golden Frieza Saga. Bulma has been taking Whis out to various restaurants for a while since the battle between Goku and Beerus in order to convince him to save her family's lives if Beerus ever tries to destroy Earth again. As Vegeta returns home to Capsule Corporation, he's surprised to run into Bulma and Whis, who have just returned from the restaurant. Vegeta asks Whis where Beerus is, and when Whis replies that he's still sleeping back on his planet, Vegeta demands that Whis take him there now so he can show Beerus the true power of the Saiyans. Bulma angrily pulls Vegeta aside and explains her plan to bribe Whis with food, which she thinks is the only surefire way to keep their family safe, and orders him not to interfere. Nevertheless, Vegeta insisted and offered to serve Whis the best of Earth's delicacies in return for being his student. Due to Bulma having taken Whis to every restaurant Vegeta can think of, Vegeta tries to cook himself, but fails miserably, and Bulma points out Vegeta is a terrible cook. Vegeta then serves Whis instant ramen noodles after deducing Bulma was planning to use it as a trump card. After Vegeta gained Whis' approval, she gave him new battle armor to wear because his old armor was being scuffed up, and Bulma not wanting herself by extension to be the joke of the universe by letting him go like that. 6 months later, Bulma was looking forward to getting a haircut at her beauty salon when 2 robbers bumped into her car and scratched it, prompting an angry Bulma to go after them and give them a taste of their own medicine. Krillin, who turned out to be the police officer chasing the robbers, thanks Bulma for her help, but gives her a ticket for speeding, much to her dismay. Just then, his phone rings. He and Bulma are summoned over to Gohan's house to try and help deal with the situation between him and Mr. Satan, with Chi-Chi, with Goku and Goten showing up at the same time too. Bulma promises to try to calm Chi-Chi down if Krillin gets rid of her ticket. Bulma and Chi-Chi compare how Saiyans seem to be more interested in fighting than family, as Bulma points out Vegeta chose training rather than attend Trunks' birth. She assures Chi-Chi that she should look on the bright side. Gohan has successfully become a scholar, and even Goku is working as opposed to Vegeta, who's been off training with Whis for half a year without coming back home. When Goku finds out Vegeta was training on Beerus' planet, he wanted to go too. Bulma said he had to wait for Whis to arrive on Earth again. Desperate, Goku starts following Bulma around, badgering her about Whis, at home, at work, and even when coming out of the shower. Finally, Bulma gives Goku a cell phone and promises to call him the next time Whis turns up. Chi-Chi oversees this, so Goku covers by telling her that he and Bulma are planning a surprise party for Pan and need to keep in touch. Eventually, Whis arrives and joins her for lunch at a restaurant and endures the impatience of Goku until they're finished. When Chi-Chi and her sons show up to see Goku, Chi-Chi reveals that Bulma told her about Goku's plans with Whis. After Chi-Chi accepts this fact, Bulma promises to throw a big, flashy party for Pan. 4 months later, Bulma reunites with her friend Jaco, who has news about Frieza's return. When told by Jaco that her sister Tight said that she was friends with Goku, she wonders what Frieza looked like. She was shown a picture Jaco drew of Frieza which made her laugh, but gets scared when told that Frieza and his forces will annihilate the Earth and its population. She tries to contact Whis with a strawberry sundae to tell Goku and Vegeta that Frieza is coming when they were training. When Bulma was told by Jaco that Frieza would show up in an hour, she calls several Z-Fighters about it. She arrives at the battlefield with Jaco and mocks Frieza for not accepting his first defeat, but when told how much stronger he is now, she recanted and politely asks Frieza to wait until Goku arrives. Frieza agrees to wait only 3 seconds and sends his army to attack the Z-Fighters. When Whis finally answers her message, Bulma orders Goku and Vegeta to return, and when they do, she yells at Vegeta for showing up late. She points out Goku as the person who beat Frieza to Jaco, and then points out Vegeta as her husband, much to Jaco's surprise. When Beerus said that he had no intention of stopping Frieza from destroying the Earth, Bulma criticized him until he said he would protect her if she stayed close to his sundae. Ultimately, Frieza blew up the Earth, killing Vegeta and everyone else. Bulma survived with the remaining fighters thanks to Beerus and Whis, but she despaired the loss of her family. Whis reversed time by 5 minutes to give Goku the opportunity to kill Frieza, and Bulma explains to Vegeta of the events when he died. She later throws a feast for the Z-Fighters. Universe 6 Saga. Bulma is asked by Goku and Vegeta to invent a new Dragon Radar to detect a Super Dragon Ball. Bulma instead suggests that they simply ask Shenron the location of the Super Dragon Balls, and so Beerus has Vegeta collect all the Dragon Balls. Bulma is amazed by how obedient Vegeta can be towards Beerus and jokingly wished that he could be that way for her. Beerus sarcastically compliments how fast Vegeta collected the Dragon Balls, and Bulma berates Beerus and proceeds to thank Vegeta by kissing his cheek. However, the wish to know where the final Super Dragon Ball is beyond Shenron's power, so she creates the Super Dragon Radar. Goku tries to use the radar, but it doesn't work because Bulma says that they're at the edge of the universe, so the ball can't be detected where they were unless they went to the center of the universe. Bulma contacts her sister and asks her to get Jaco to Earth. When he reaches Earth, Bulma insists that he take her to the center of the universe, but he thinks she's crazy because the universe has multiple galaxies. He suggests that she goes to see a mysterious guy named Zuno, who should know everything. Bulma gets in his ship since he's taking her to see him. On the way to Zuno's planet, Bulma informs Jaco that there's a Universe 6 and the Super Dragon Balls. He says that it's news to him, and Bulma agrees, stating that she's new to the information as well. When Jaco's interested in going to the Nameless planet when the tournament happens, Bulma suggests he bring his girlfriend, but it turns out he got dumped. On Zuno's planet, Bulma and Jaco visit Zuno. Jaco is given one question because he's a male. He uses the question to ask Zuno about Bulma's bust size, which is 83.4 centimeters after breastfeeding, but before that it was 87.2 centimeters. Bulma is angry that Jaco would ask such a question. She's given 3 questions, but she would have been given more if she wasn't middle-aged, and plus she's not Zuno's type. Bulma uses 2 questions by mistake, but manages to ask a question about the origin of the Super Dragon Balls. Bulma wants to get more questions by throwing herself on Zuno, but she's forced to leave and come back 1 year from then to ask more questions. 5 days later, Bulma is on her way to the Nameless planet with the rest of the gang. She's present at the sidelines with her friends and family, spectating the tournament of destroyers, expressing concern for her husband after he's defeated by Hit. After the tournament, the group locates the 7th and final Super Dragon Ball, which was actually the planet they were on. Bulma constantly nags Beerus about wishing for something good, threatening to tell Zeno on him if he doesn't. Bulma then returns to Earth with everyone else. Copy-Vegeta Saga. Bulma throws a party for Universe 7's victory in the tournament and invites everyone, including Beerus and Whis. Bulma also tells the 2 gods to invite Monaka. Later, Monaka appears, delivering some sweets for Jaco, and Bulma is surprised to see that Monaka has a job. After Beerus and Whis arrive, Bulma is told, along with everyone else, to protect the secret of Monaka's weakness from Goku. Bulma constantly nags Beerus, which angers him, and Vegeta keeps telling her to stop, reminding her of what happened at her birthday party. Bulma watches as Beerus dons a life-size Monaka costume and fights with Goku, who believes he is the real Monaka and is overwhelmed by their battle. The situation turns out to be good, as Goku does not find out about Monaka's weakness, and the party starts. One day, Bulma works on an experiment as Monaka appears, delivering the same sweets for her. Bulma then asks Monaka to assist her with the experiment, ignoring the fact that Monaka is running late on other deliveries. Monaka then leaves as Bulma wonders where Trunks and Goten are. Later, Bulma realizes that Trunks and Goten are stowed away on Monaka's delivery truck, having watched her surveillance camera footage. She asks Jaco to go to planet Patafu to retrieve them, who refuses, saying that he has more important matters to attend to. Bulma then blackmails Jaco using his possessed picture of the Galactic King with a drawn-on mustache, and Jaco says he'll go. Bulma then tells Vegeta about the situation and tells him to accompany Jaco, much to her husband's irritation and Jaco's intimidation. As the 2 leave, Bulma calls Chi-Chi to inform her of her son's whereabouts. Later, when the group from Patafu return to Earth, Bulma scolds Trunks for sneaking onto Monaka's spacecraft, as Trunks apologizes. Future Trunks Saga. Bulma is called by Shu to the Garden of Capsule Corp, as Future Trunks' time machine has arrived and Future Trunks is beaten and unconscious inside. Bulma lays him in a bed and berates Pilaf and the gang for assuming that Bulma was part of a scandal, as Future Trunks and Trunks look the same. Bulma frantically looks for the communicator given to her by Whis, and she uses it to tell Vegeta and Goku about Future Trunks, and they teleport back to Earth. After Goku teleports to Korin Tower for some Senzu beans, Bulma feeds Future Trunks one and is surprised to see Future Trunks suddenly wake up and attack Goku. Bulma slaps him in the face, and he realizes that he is in the present, not the future anymore. Future Trunks is happy to see Bulma again since his own mother from his timeline sadly died. The Pilaf gang are still unaware that this is a future version of Trunks, and they still think it's the older brother. Bulma has to explain to them that he's the same person as Trunks, but from the future, to their and the present Trunks' shock. She then shows the time machine and confirms Future Trunks' statement of already meeting present Trunks when he was a baby. Whis is a little worried that Future Trunks has been traveling through time, as he notes about the butterfly effect. The butterfly effect is a concept where if one thing is changed in the past, it can have a severe consequence on the future. Meanwhile, Beerus wants to destroy them and the time machine. Bulma tries to argue, but Future Trunks intervenes, and Bulma points him out to Beerus as god of destruction when he begged Whis instead. Beerus only agrees to stop if he gets tasty food, and Bulma gives Beerus and Whis some sausages, and they love it. Bulma notes that the time machine only had fuel for a one-way trip. However, she finds a note that's been written by her future self. The future Bulma has given her past self a clue to where she can get more fuel and build a better time machine. Future Trunks then mentions to the rest of the gang that the new enemy he faces looks like Goku. He says that the enemy is known as Goku Black, when Bulma points out that that name is silly. Future Trunks tells her it was her counterpart that gave him the name, and she's mortified, but says that they're 2 different people. She's then shocked to hear that her counterpart was killed, as Vegeta is angry at Future Trunks for the death of future Bulma and running away to the past. Bulma tells him to overlook it as she shows them the notebook she found that would help Trunks to travel with present-day Goku and Vegeta to the future. After Goku Black arrives in the present timeline, Bulma noted that he really did look like Goku. He then battles Goku and destroys the time machine Trunks came from before he's sent back to the future. Thankfully, Bulma reveals that she still had the time machine that Cell came in. Bulma wanted to keep Cell's time machine to learn more about time travel, but she wasn't able to figure it out. She then found notes from her other self containing theories. Bulma and her father, who returned from his vacation, soon repair the time machine. Eventually, with the help of the Pilaf gang and Trunks, she completely restores it, also preparing enough fuel for it for a round trip. Future Trunks thanks her and leaves for the future with Goku and Vegeta accompanying him. Later on, she's shocked and greatly flustered to see the time machine return, with Goku, Vegeta, and future Trunks beaten and unconscious. Seeing her husband badly injured makes Bulma panic. Wasting no time, she immediately gives senzu beans to Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks, scolding the former for leaving them in the bathroom. Later, Beerus returns with Whis and Goku to Earth, to inform them that he destroyed Zamasu and thus should have returned the future to safety. However, future Trunks wasn't completely satisfied with Beerus' theory and decides to return to the future to check things out. After having dinner, Bulma decides this time to come along to the future along with Trunks, Goku, and Vegeta as they need someone to pilot it when they head back home. Upon arriving, they look in shock and see that the future didn't change at all. After landing at the ruined Capsule Corporation in the alternate timeline, a member of the Resistance approaches them telling them that future Mai's life is in danger. Arriving at the Resistance base, Bulma spots future Yajirobe and thanks him for saving Trunks and Goku. Eventually, Trunks saves Mai with a senzu and Bulma exchanges pleasantries with her, offering the latter necessary supplies for the refugees and the Resistance. Immediately, the Saiyans sense Black and Zamasu's ki and head to confront them, with Bulma, Mai, and Yajirobe watching the upcoming battle. Bulma, along with everyone else, is then surprised to learn that Goku Black is in fact the Zamasu of the unaltered timeline, who used the Super Dragon Balls to switch bodies with Goku and killed him in the process. He was able to negate his past self's death with the Time Ring. She later witnesses Trunks' new Super Saiyan form never seen before, after the latter being told by the two incarnations of Zamasu that he's responsible for their Project Zero mortals, calling Trunks a sinner for the use of the time machine. Trunks then bought Bulma, Vegeta, and an injured Goku enough time so they could return to the past to figure out a plan to defeat Black and Zamasu. Upon returning to their own timeline, Bulma angrily yells at Beerus for telling him about what they've witnessed in the future, putting the blame on him for everything they've experienced. With Beerus denying the events of the future to avoid taking his responsibilities, Bulma was about to punch Beerus until Vegeta stops her and tells her that they should focus instead on finding a plan to defeat their enemies, and not wasting the opportunity that Trunks gave them. After Beerus and Whis' departure, Bulma immediately begins to prepare the fuel for the time machine. Soon afterward, Gohan, a worried Chi-Chi, Piccolo, and Krillin arrive at Capsule Corporation. Bulma then tells everyone about the threats that are terrorizing future Trunks' timeline, which especially shocks Gohan. After Piccolo gives everyone hope with the idea of using the evil containment wave to seal their enemies, Bulma tells Vegeta that it would take half a day to gather enough fuel for the time machine. Eventually, Goku, Vegeta, and Bulma return in the nick of time to save Trunks as he was critically injured by Black. The latter immediately notices them along with Zamasu and destroys the time machine, preventing them from escaping again, thus destroying the vase destined to seal Zamasu and Black. After Goku and Vegeta went to face their nemesis once again, Bulma reveals that she made a special garage, proudly claiming that she will repair the time machine. She's soon reunited with future Mai and future Trunks, relieved that the latter's alright. She then tells them about their plan to seal the duo inside the broken vase, and that she needed Trunks to repair it with super glue, as he's good at solving puzzles, much to his surprise. Later, she's terrified to learn from Trunks that future Zamasu is approaching them. She immediately suggests that Trunks should learn the evil containment wave in order to seal Zamasu. Eventually, she's able to show the pose needed to perform the technique by showing Trunks a recorded video of Piccolo doing the technique through her smartphone. She then tells Trunks that she will buy him enough time so that he could master the technique, and that he should have faith in her despite the latter's worries. She then approaches Zamasu and tries to flirt with him, but to no avail, as he immediately grabs her by the collar. Upon seeing this, Trunks is immediately reminded of his own mother's death. Angry at witnessing the same thing happening to his past mother, Trunks finally performs the evil containment wave and successfully seals Zamasu inside the fixed vase. Bulma immediately regains consciousness and congratulates Trunks, much to his and Mai's relief. She then tells Mai to place the talisman on the vase to prevent Zamasu from escaping, but then remembers that they didn't bring it with them. The three of them then tried hard to hold the vase in order to prevent Zamasu from escaping, but to no avail as he gets out of the vase barely breathing. Black then uses instant transmission to teleport himself to Zamasu, and the two of them performed a Potara fusion to form Fuse Zamasu. Trunks evacuates Bulma and Mai from the battlefield, and Bulma uses this opportunity to repair the time machine. Soon afterward, Bulma used her own garage as a shelter for the remaining survivors and refugees. After repairing the time machine, she's seen giving her energy to Trunks' spirit bomb, whom the latter absorbs in his own sword and managed to defeat Zamasu. Bulma arrives along with Mai in the battlefield, congratulating Trunks for his victory, wishing her future self was there to witness Trunks' glory. However, their happiness is short-lived when Zamasu's essence takes over Earth and kills the remaining survivors on it, which greatly devastated Mai. She later witnesses future Xeno's arrival after being summoned by Goku with the button he received from present Xeno as a last resort to eliminate Zamasu. Trunks asks who Xeno is as Bulma informs him that he is the most eminent god in the universe, which shocks the latter. Goku asks Xeno if he will erase Zamasu, as the latter confirms along with the world. Goku immediately told Bulma and Trunks to prepare the time machine as they hurriedly do so. Future Xeno wipes out the entire multiverse along with Zamasu, while Bulma and the others use the time machine to and narrowly head back to the past, putting an end to the Rogue Kai's ambition at the cost of the future timeline. Afterwards, Goku and Trunks use the machine to retrieve future Xeno, bringing him back to his present counterpart to be friends. At dinner, Whis convinces future Trunks and future Mai that they should go and live in the alternate timeline which Beerus created after he destroyed Zamasu, which is free of Zamasu's terror. Bulma interjects by saying that they would have to deal with Zamasu again, but Whis states that he will go to the future and alert future Beerus of the Rogue Kai and have him take care of him. As Trunks and Mai prepare to leave, Bulma gives Trunks a box of supplies and wishes for both he and Mai a better life, even teasing them by stating her future self will soon become a grandmother, much to their embarrassment. She and the Z-Fighters bid farewell to the duo as they are headed to settle down in a new timeline where their friends and relatives are alive and free of the apocalyptic nightmare caused by Zamasu. Shortly after, Bulma watches her husband, son, and friends have a friendly baseball game between Universe 7 and Universe 6. Bulma cheers for Vegeta and Yamcha, who blushes at her before being beaten by Vegeta and Champa throughout the game. She later tries to reinvent the time machine without Beerus' knowledge and realizes she needs a specific mineral within the Earth's core. After wishing for the mineral from Shenron, Beerus figures everything out and destroys the time machine and mineral, ordering Bulma to never make another time machine again. At a scientific awards ceremony, Bulma's inventions earn her a nomination, but the ceremony is interrupted by Arale, who causes havoc. Bulma lets Vegeta try to deal with her, but is quickly blasted away. Bulma then asks everyone via live camera to think of the most delicious food and uses the delicacy to get Beerus and Whis to help. After Goku deals with Arale, Bulma tells Trunks she's glad that the day is over but realizes she's forgetting something, which turns out to be Vegeta, who is blasted off elsewhere by Arale. Afterward, Goten tells Gohan that Vegeta refused to train with Goku, and Chi-Chi wonders if something happened with Bulma that made him refuse, unaware that Bulma had found out that she's pregnant and Vegeta is opting to take care of her over training. While trying to retrieve the Paradise Herb from the Forest of Terror, in addition to the illusions of various villains, Goku and Krillin are confronted by an illusion of Bulma herself, humorously demonstrating the fear that she occasionally inspires in them. Universe Survival Saga. Several months later, Goku wants to ask Vegeta to train with him and Whis for the Xeno Expo. He visits Bulma and finds out that she's pregnant with her and Vegeta's second child. She later exercises with Pilaf, Shu, and Mai as she's past her due date. Chi-Chi comes to visit and they talk. Whis shows up and uses his time-warping powers to bring the baby girl out from inside her, leaving everyone shocked. Bulma is delighted by her daughter and lets everyone take turns holding the baby. She convinces a disappointed Trunks to hold his sister and tells him that he needs to protect her, and she's happy when Vegeta eagerly holds the baby. When asked what the baby's name is, Vegeta is about to suggest Echelot, but Bulma announces that it's Bulla. Vegeta protests but relents because Bulla isn't a bad name after all, much to Bulma's delight. Later that night, Beerus wakes up from a nightmare and startles Bulla, and Bulma puts her to bed. The next day, Bulma is talking to someone on the phone about Bulla. Most of the Z-Fighters gather at Capsule Corp to discuss a strategy. After putting Bulla to bed, Bulma gets a phone call from Mr. Satan about Majin Buu falling asleep and he won't wake up for a couple months. As Goku left to wake Majin Buu up, Gohan reveals that Goku bribed everyone with fake prize money to recruit them. Goku asks for the money from Bulma, but she refuses. However, Bulma changes her mind and offers to pay everyone for their participation, but makes Goku promise to fight his hardest since this is about survival. Bulma, like everyone else, is shocked when Goku suggests that they recruit Frieza as a replacement, and later when Goku reveals he promised to resurrect Frieza if they win until Whis agrees with Goku's reasoning. Trunks questions Frieza's picture on the team member board, and Bulma, not wanting Trunks to know about the tournament, lies that those on the board are guests for a celebration of Bulla's birth. When Trunks doubts this, Vegeta reluctantly lies that Frieza has redeemed. Bulma and Vegeta are irritated at Goku for using Trunks as a bargain to get Android 17 to participate. However, Bulma helps Goku find a gift for Baba as payment for bringing Frieza. After Goku shows up with Frieza and everyone's leaving, Bulma cheers for everyone to do their best and that she's counting on them. After Universe 7 emerges victorious, Bulma hugs Vegeta, relieved he came home safely, while he holds Bulla. A celebration party is then held for Bulla, during which Bulma and 18 converse with 17 while he's taking a vacation on her cruise. Bulma holds Bulla and everyone showers the baby with presents, but she's dismayed when Goku and Vegeta decide to have a rematch. This is contrasted in the manga, as after Universe 7's victory in the Tournament of Power and the return of the Team Universe 7 back to Capsule Corp, Bulma is glad that everyone is safe and welcomes them back. After, everyone leaves to go back to their respective homes, except for Beerus and Goku, who stay behind to discuss with Vegeta about how tough of an opponent Jiren was and that they couldn't put a scratch on him. Beerus explains that the multiverse is full of powerful fighters that may rival Goku and Vegeta's power respectively, but Goku replies that 17 also rarely does anything, yet his strength still rivals theirs. Bulma overhears this and is mad, retorting that 17 is a proper hard-working man and has a job, unlike Goku and Vegeta, who don't because they like to spend most of their time training. Vegeta is mad that Goku brought 17 up, as Bulma hasn't forgiven him for promising 17 a ship without talking about it to her beforehand. Due to her fury, Goku decides to leave while Vegeta promises to change Bulla's diaper and make her milk in exchange for not going through Bulma's fury. Galactic Patrol Prisoner Saga. While at Capsule Corporation, Bulma retrieves an urgent call from Mr. Satan informing her that a mysterious gang has showed up at his house and are trying to capture Buu. Bulma then passes on the message to Goku and Vegeta while they're in the middle of training. 1 week later, Bulma is angry due to the fact that both Goku and Vegeta have since vanished. She questions Mr. Satan and determines that the Galactic Patrol appear to be behind it, so they head to her sister's island so that Bulma can use her communicator in order to get in touch with Jaco. When she reaches the island, she successfully communicates with Jaco, who informs her that Goku and Vegeta have currently joined the Galactic Patrol. Bulma warns Jaco that her husband had better be safe and demands that a ship be sent to her so that she can head over to the headquarters, though Jaco instead pretends that his phone has ran out of minutes and hangs up. Later, Bulma heads out to the lookout with Mr. Satan and Bulla to ask Dende where Piccolo is, and Dende replies that Piccolo had just left. Bulma explains to Dende that they got word from Jaco that he wants to recruit Piccolo to the Galactic Patrol, and Dende assumes that the Galactic Patrol must be battling someone currently, and asks Bulma to tell him everything she knows about the situation. Bulma says she doesn't have the full details, so she uses Tight's communicator to contact Jaco to tell them about the situation. After Jaco explains, he asks Bulma to gather Gohan, Krillin, and Tien Shinhan in preparation for Moro's arrival, and warns them that Moro has also sent some scout squads into space to search for possible planets for Moro to eat. Dende agrees to come along with Bulma, Mr. Satan, and Bulla to find Piccolo and inform him about the situation. After finding Piccolo, who had apprehended the Macareni gang, they return to the lookout where they're joined by Krillin, with Bulma asking where Gohan and Tien Shinhan are. Shortly after, Jaco arrives in order to recruit the fighters, and when he finds that 7-3 and 2 other minions are coming to Earth, he attempts to leave, but Bulma stops him, saying that he should stay and fight as he's the only one who knows about them. The minions appear using a warp portal, and when Krillin and Yunba's battle moves away from the lookout, Bulma, Mr. Satan, and Dende enter a ship to follow after them to see if they're alright. 2 months later, when the Galactic Bandit Brigade and Moro arrive on Earth, Bulma along with her friends are still at the lookout. Bulma sets up monitors linked to drones so that they can watch the battles taking place below, and is upset when she sees Vegeta being defeated. To be continued. Did you enjoy the video? Be sure to check out these other great videos from the Amagi, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.